just chatting with you a little bit about a sweater that I'm completing. It's a historical pattern. It's based off of, and mind my little, not so great here. Let me give it a little bit more light. Hold on 1 second. Uh-oh, why is that not working? Okay, maybe you can see that a little bit better. Okay, so this is the pattern that I found off of an old sweater, and I have the earlier, this is like the third video in the installation, so this is what I'm trying to reproduce. I've been doing this using a yarn called, let me get the name of it, it's called Valley Yarns Southampton yarn. It's called Valley Yarn Southampton yarn, and it's 72% kid mohair and 28% mulberry silk, and this is in the color blue jean, and I got this off of Amazon, and I had to get about, so far I've used about 5.5 or 6 of these, and each one is about 230 yards. So here we are, well, you know how it goes. Sometimes when you don't put your needle stopper on there, you lose some stitches, so my stitches came out, but that's okay. Don't worry about that. But basically, this is going to be a knitted interpretation of that sweater. And let's see if you can see here. Let me hold it back. So this is what I've done so far. I've ripped the bottom. The sleeves are, my signature look, which are the, come on, sleeve, which are, the kind of Victorian, long, bishop type sleeves. So yeah, that's where we are so far. Last week when I was talking to you guys, I had only finished one arm, but now both arms are done. That's the full thing. And the neck is done up here. I have to add some buttons. I'm looking for the right buttons to put on the picture. So it's looking kind of close to the picture. Wait, okay, it's getting a little close to the picture. I need to add some buttons, but I don't know if I'm going to do the contrasting, like this is blue and white. I don't know if I'm going to do that or just keep everything blue. This particular sweater, I had to do some German short rows in the back, which are always fun, but they do make a difference. Like this particular sweater that I'm wearing now, this does not have any German short rows. This sweater here, I'll kind of stand up a little bit here. This one here is, in case you're curious, I got this on Ravelry. I want to say that the name of this pattern is called, I want to say Pagan Sky. Anyway, if you just Google Ravelry, Pagan Sky, Latvian design, because this is from an artist in Latvia, and these are kind of like the Latvian style design, just in case you guys were curious about that. But anyway, so it's been about maybe a week and a half to 2 weeks since I started this sweater. I've been, tapping away at it. When I knit, I tend to go well into the evening. Like I knit, for, until I fall asleep basically. And I knit in the daytime a little bit, just in between when I have some spare time to do it. So I bought some ribbon to add to it. When I do historical sweaters, if I'm doing, like a traditional, like a Native American style, because the traditional Native American women's regalia that we wear from the tribe that my family descend from, they tend to wear like ribbons embroidered on there. That was like a popular style in like the early 1800s. So this is, kind of like that as well, but I don't know if I'm going to add ribbons to it or not. We'll see if that makes any sense. Oh goodness, my microphone is all the way over here. Sorry, you guys probably couldn't hear me. So yeah, so we'll see if I add ribbons to it. I don't really know. When you're working with sweaters, to me it's more fun when you can add like other things to it. So I do my sweaters in lieu of just like not hand sewing, but like in lieu of like machine sewing, because I'm not good with the machine. So I can still kind of create those looks without having to worry about the needle getting stuck and my machine's not working and the pedal's not working. I'm just not really good with the sewing machine. So, but when you're translating a cloth pattern into a fiber pattern, it can get a little bit tricky sometimes. So, you know, I'm recreating ruffles with, I'm knitting ruffles. I'm, you know, recreating lace by making a lace pattern. So as you see here, this pattern in the front actually has some lace. Um, oh gosh, it's hard to see, some lace here. And, you know, that would be kind of cool to put onto a sweater. I just don't know if I really need it. And if I did, then it seems like, you know, it'd be kind of a pain to kind of figure out the color combination. I'm not sure. With something like this kind of color, I think like if I were to do some sort of contrasting color, like a really dark cream, almost like a light beige kind of color would go well with it. I wouldn't want to put white on there. That's too stark of a difference. But yeah, that's basically it. Just for anybody who was curious what was going on with the sweater. So next video that I present this sweater to you guys, something else is going to be embellished, you know, like I'll either have the buttons or something. I don't know. I'm just kind of figuring it out. And I figure, you know, for people that are interested in making historical pieces and having like that sort of historical sort of silhouette, you know, maybe, you know, you guys can leave some comments in the comment section. Let me know what you're working on, because I find that in the knitting community, most knitting is done, you know, for the most part when it comes to sweaters, more kind of like this, which is kind of basic. But even this one, I added like, you know, the sort of bishop sleeve, right? Because that's, I can't just do like a real square sweater. For me, those are just, I don't have any fun doing those. I like to add all the, you know, the bells and whistles and stuff. So, you know, if anybody out there is interested in historical knitting and you get anything out of the video, you enjoy it, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and I'll be coming at you pretty regularly with some knitting projects. I've made so many sweaters this year. I think I may just, I mean, it's probably time to kind of slow down on the sweaters, to be honest. But I could just like maybe discuss some of the sweaters that I've done in the past, and like, but they're still recent though, and how I came up with the patterns and things like this. The one that I'm doing now, this one here, was based off a pattern, but for the foundation, but I've changed it so much that it's not quite as, like the original pattern was. So, you know, and I've just done these type of sweaters so much, like in my head I already like kind of have it pretty much memorized. I know how to make these sweaters without having to look at the instructions. But, you know, like for example, like I did for the lace pattern here, at the neck, this is the collar right here. I wanted to make it really high up to give it that really Victorian look. And I'm thinking about maybe even taking some very thin ribbon and going and lacing it throughout, just kind of give it something. It all depends, you know, because when you're dealing with ribbons, it's like, can you find the right colors? And, you know, sometimes when all you have is Joann's as your option, that can get a little bit desperate at times. So, because there's just not enough colors. And then when you order stuff online, it's not always the same color when it comes in. It's hard when you're trying to match shades, right? Or, you know, like, have you guys ever bought yarn and then it comes in the mail, it's like a totally different color? But anyway, now that we're still in the winter, but once springtime comes around, I'll start looking at doing some more springtime projects with like more like finer yarns. I love cotton yarns, but man, those are really, oh my God, those are treacherous. They are so terrible. Like, you knit something, as soon as you put it on, the shape completely, it's just, because I thought one time, I was like, oh, well, what if I use like these cotton yarns to try to make like t-shirts, you know? And that idea, I mean, come on, literally hell in a handbasket. It was such a nightmare. And then I was stuck with all of this freaking cotton yarn. I'm still stuck with this cotton yarn. I don't know what the hell to do with it. I'm not a shawl person. I know people say, oh, you can just use it to make a shawl or something, but I mean, I'm not sure about shawls. And I wonder, like, so many people I see, like, you know, doing their projects, they make shawls and stuff, but I mean, and then they say like, oh, I've made so many shawls. I have a whole box of shawls just sitting in the corner. I'm like, but what do you do with those shawls? Like, I never see anybody wear shawls. Do you see people wear shawls? I never see anybody. So I'm like, I wonder what maybe it's just for the whole uh, the exercise of just moving your hands and having something to do with your hands. I'm not sure. For me, if I'm making something, I'm spending money. Believe me, I'm wearing it to the next event, and somebody's going to know that it's my handmade stuff because knitters. We try to be humble, but we're like, oh, this thing. Oh, thank you. I made it myself and designed it. Anyway, I'm just being silly. All right, so I'll see you guys. I don't know if it'll be next week or not because I don't know when I'm going to be able to get the rest of the notions for the sweater, but as soon as I can, I'll see you. Take care. Chippy Salacho.